how can I express it in a way that not even this person would be able to realize that I wrote it.
And you have an interesting background. So share a little bit about your studies.
I do. I started as I've always wanted to be a scientist since I was a child. So I pursued a degree in biomedicine and then a master and a PhD in biotechnology. So for a long time, I was working in healthcare area and research related to cancer and etc. But as a researcher, one of our biggest challenges is to capture the main ideas of our studies and translate them into something that we can publish. So this scientific background also provided me with a lot of experience in writing. And somehow, in one way or another, I've always been a writer. So
all of our clients are financial professionals, mainly financial advisors. Roughly, how many book projects have you been involved in at this point?
It's been a lot, actually. I can't even count, maybe more than 50.
And give us a sense of the kind of topics. So what do you see? What are some of the patterns that you see? What's similar? What's different? Because one of the things that you do is that you act as the book writer. And what that means is that there's a book coach and they have these very long form conversations, oftentimes 10 hours or more about the content of their book. And you sit and then you get the recording and you listen to these, you get the transcripts, and your job is to organize these and to not only organize it, but to write it in the author's voice. So actually, maybe let's start with that. So tell us about the process of capturing the author's unique voice based on these recordings and transcripts of 10 plus hours of conversation that they typically have.
Yeah, it's a very interesting process because, as you said, we have long videos, conversations where our clients are talking about their experiences, both in the field of finance or their personal experiences as well. And this is our opportunity to observe how they communicate, how they express their ideas, what are the words that they commonly use, if they like longer sentences, if they are more straightforward, if they are narrative-driven or more technical. So these are all aspects that I pay attention and take notes about because these are all essential topics to use when we're writing. So I do a huge inventory of the author's style so that I can apply when I'm writing. And then I read what I write and I keep imagining, would this person say this? Or would they say it differently? How can I express it in a way that not even this person would be able to realize that I wrote it? So this is basically the process, to get to know the authors with as much detail as possible so that we can capture their voice as accurately as possible.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, when they come into it, they think of it as ghostwriting. And in some ways it is, because they don't have to themselves put pen to paper and write the book. And at the same time, I don't know if ghostwriting is the best word, because literally we're capturing their stories, their voice. Everything that goes into the book has come out of their mouth in some conversation. It's just, organized into a written form that's reflects their voice, right? And so from your point of view, how would you describe it? Is this ghostwriting? Or is this something else that we should call it?
Honestly, I like to think about us as facilitators. We see that they have a lot of good content. And by the way, as part of our process, they also receive the author workbook where they have the chance to write their ideas. And they do write a lot of good things. But many of them are so overwhelmed with their workload that they simply aren't able to turn that into a book.
Yeah.
So this is why I think that we are facilitators, because we are not creating anything. We are simply refining what they already have to make this process simpler for them so that they can have their book, but dedicate to their work as they usually do. So it's how I like to think about us. Not exactly as ghostwriters, but more like facilitators.
Yeah, I think that's a much more accurate way to describe it. So for you, what kind of patterns do you see when you're listening to these conversations? And I know our whole thing is we want to make sure it's story-driven, it's educational. I always describe it as the polished version of their voice. So it should sound like them, the ideas are theirs, and it should be really the polished version, that on their best day, if they were to say these in the best way possible, that's what we want to capture.
Yes, because this is very important as well. When we talk about capturing their voice, the coaching sessions are very conversational because they are a natural conversation where our book coach is getting to know them and their process, their target audience, why they want to write their book. So it's a very natural conversation. And naturally, this can't be simply reproduced to the page. So we think about a way that we can capture their essence by using those strategies that I've described before, by listening to how they express their ideas, the common words they like to use, but giving it a slight polish, something here and there to, as you said, make them sound as if they were in their best day. Because at the end of the day, it's a book. So although we want to communicate with a broader audience, we want the book to be educational, simple to read, and also easy to understand. We also want to build authority to our clients. So we need to find that sweet spot between professionalism and naturality. So this is how I like to work.
Final question. What brings you the most joy in the process?
Definitely to see how they react when they get their book in their hands, because it's so exciting to see their reaction when they get to that point where they are proud of what they made. And when they realize that, as I said in the beginning, I was essentially a facilitator. That's their content, their book, their message, and essentially their voice. So it's what brings me the most joy on working as a ghostwriter, is to make their objective possible to achieve. This reaction, when they feel confident on their message, when they realize that they produce something meaningful to their target audience and that they're going to feel proud of it, it's the best part of the work for me. So it's what makes me feel more satisfied by working on it.